If Bobby Fischer is the god of chess, I'm the devil, Walter Browne. Hello chess lovers! In this video I would like to share with you hyper-aggressive attacking game played by American chess grandmaster Walter Browne, who won the US Chess Championship 6 times. His 6 titles have been exceeded only by the 8 titles of Bobby Fischer and Samuel Reshevsky. In this game, his opponent was strong American chess grandmaster Larry Christiansen, who would later become US chess champion 3 times. This game was played at 1977 USA Championship. But before starting our game, as usual, would like to warm up your brain. Please take a look at this position and try to find the winning move for white. I will wait for your answer in the comment section. Back to our main board, and now without further ado, let's go for our game and see what happened on the board. Browne opened up with d4 and Christiansen responded with e6, c4 and b6. Black is choosing the English defense. This is a somewhat unusual opening, but sometimes grandmasters are choosing this as a surprise weapon. Now comes d5 and bishop a6. Black is targeting the pawn on c4. We have e4, e takes d5, e takes d5, knight f6, knight c3, bishop b4, queen e2 check, bishop e7 and queen c2. Yes, white is freeing the light squared bishop's diagonal. We have c6. Meanwhile, black is challenging white's pawn structure. We have bishop d3, and this time we have b5. Yes, all the time black is undermining white pawns, and finally we have c takes b5. c takes b5 was played, and knight e2. Yes, white is allowing black to play b4, remove the defender and win the pawn on d5, after which, let's see, but where is white's compensation? After knight takes d5 with castling by both sides and rook d1, already white has created a very nasty threat. That's why black responded with queen a5. This time we have knight g3 and g6. Yes, black is taking under control this f5 square, not allowing any possible knight f5 jumps, but with his last move is weakening his king side too much. It was better to capture on d3 and then play knight b6. The players have equal chances, but in our game after knight g3 we have g6. Now comes bishop h6. Yes, white is developing his dark squared bishop with a tempo. Rook goes on e8 and queen d2. This time the threat is bishop takes a6 followed by queen takes d5, and it was in here that Christiansen made a mistake and moved back his knight on f6. Instead of knight f6, it was better to play knight c7. If queen f4, then queen f4 can be met with knight e6. Yes, black knight is managing to safeguard all the essential squares successfully, but in our game after queen d2 we have knight f6, and after which white played queen f4, and yes, already black is in trouble. Right now the threat is knight takes f6, and if move like knight takes e4, then white can recapture with the bishop, and again black is facing serious problems. That's why after queen f4 black played queen b6, protected the knight, but now comes bishop takes a6. Yes, this is the start of a brilliant combination, and now you will see the idea hidden behind bishop takes a6. Knight takes a6 was played, after which Browne made a fantastic move and he played rook d6. Look at this epic rook sacrifice. By exchanging the light squared bishops, white opened up the rook's path, and now this blockading and deflecting move is becoming a huge problem for black. Bishop takes d6 was played, and as the knight is no longer protected, we have knight takes f6 check, king h8, and another fantastic move, bishop g7 check. Although yes, this looks spectacular, but is not as strong as knight h5. Right now the threat is bishop g7 checkmate. If g takes h5, then queen f5 is winning, and if rook g8, then queen c4. But in our game we have bishop g7 check. White is also sacrificing his bishop. We have king takes g7, and now the second knight is joining the attack. Knight h5 check. G takes h5, black accepted the knight sacrifice as well, but let's cover other lines as well. Now if king h8, then queen h6 is coming, or after knight h5 check. If king f8, then this time knight takes h7 is coming. Here king e7 can be met with a simple queen f6 checkmate, and if we move like king g8, then knight f6 check is coming, and then queen h6 check. If king e7, then this steps into this devastating fork, and once black is losing his queen, the game is over. Let's go back, but as I have already mentioned, after knight h5 check, black accepted the knight sacrifice, and we have queen g5 check. King h8, well, if king f8, then knight takes d7. This is a checkmate, or knight takes h7 is also mating. In our game we have king h8 and queen h6. Looks like that black king is getting checkmated, but here Christiansen found an interesting way of prolonging his resistance and sacrificed the bishop. King h1, of course not king takes h2, because this can allow black queen to announce a check from d6 and then jump on d3, and yes, black is managing to prolong his resistance. But in our game, after bishop h2 check, we have king h1, and in here all black can do is to give away his queen, after which, yes, white is winning. Queen takes f6 check is on the board. King g8. We have another check from g5 here. Browne repeated the moves. And finally, after king h8, won the bishop on h2. Rook e6. We have rook d1. Yes, the last piece is also joining the attack. Queen f4. There are so many weaknesses in black's camp that it's impossible to hold this position. g3 was played, but white could also go for rook takes d7, which is even stronger. This rook takes g2 is not dangerous. White can respond with king h3. And yes, after rook g7 can capture on f7. In this case, white is even winning faster. But in our game, we have g3, which is also a strong move. f6 was played, and we have rook takes d7. Knight c5, rook d6, h4, queen takes h4. Yes, white pieces are simply munching black pawns one after another, and finally after queen d4 we have a resignation. The knight is hanging, and if you make a move like knight a4, then in this case rook takes f6 is coming, and then queen takes f6 check, and then white can announce another check, can win the pawn on a5 as well. That's why after queen d4, where is that queen d4? Here it is. That's why after queen d4 we have a resignation. A very beautiful and aggressive attacking game by Shawn Browne, which I hope that you enjoyed greatly. Thanks for watching. For more games, consider subscribing to my channel. Also press the bell button to get notified about new uploads. I will see you in my next video. Take care.